Hello, it is mid-March 2023 and I'm in Saguaro National Park, Rincon Mountain District for a 6-day backpacking adventure. My first backcountry trip to Arizona was around a year and a half ago, and I became immediately infatuated with the saguaro cactus. They just capture my imagination, made me feel like I'm exploring an absolutely alien landscape, so it only made sense to come down to Saguaro National Park and check it out. It's already started to sprinkle a little bit this morning and is expected to continue off and on throughout the day and into the night. There is also expected to be some snow at the highest elevations of the park, but I shouldn't have to worry about that until tomorrow. I'm excited to explore this area, and it's time to hit the trail. These pair of saguaro are older than me. In this section of the park, the typical growth is to hit around 6 feet by 35 years old. Saguaro need the shade from nearby bushes and trees to make it through their first stages of life. This group here is probably between 15 to 30 years old with the various sizes. This big fella has lived more than twice as long as I have. Saguaro start to grow their first arms at around 70 years. A saguaro of this magnificent magnitude is likely 150 plus years old. That means that this fella could have been born before the city of Tucson was incorporated. The rain has been steadily increasing for the past hour or two, but it's still pretty light and not a concern yet. The first stretch of my trip has been very flat and easy, but I know that at some point soon I'm going to have to start climbing because I need to rise approximately 2,500 feet to get to Douglas Springs today. It looks to be an old watering hole a little ways off the trail. A short detour out to Bridal Falls. Totally worth checking out when the water's flowing like it is now. Back on the main trail, there is Bridal Falls from a distance. I've gained enough elevation to be leaving the statuesque saguaros behind, which is sad, but I always enjoy hiking through different ecosystems, and I'll be checking out several as I undulate in elevation on this trip. Tina Larga Tank. Nice little retaining wall there. Very nice little water there. Well, there is definitely snow on the upper reaches of the Rincons. How much? Determined to be seen. I don't know what kind of tree this is, but the wood is a striking burgundy color. Home sweet home. Made it to Douglas Spring. I'm setting up in campsite 3. Each site has a bear box. There's an outhouse toilet up here. And I found this table trashed off in the woods. Figured don't mind if I do. The rain has just started up again, so I'm going to try to hurry scurry and get set up. Saguaro cactus are native only to the Sonoran Desert and are uniquely adapted to survive in what is the hottest desert in both the United States and Mexico. I and the Park Service would recommend that you use the Saguaro National Park map by Nat Geo with its detailed information for backcountry travel. But if you're in the initial planning stages, you're probably looking at this hiking guide online, so I'll outline the trip using this map. While out hiking, I supplemented heavily with the free GPS-enabled NPS app. Let's take a look at the map for day 1. There are a lot of short trails through here, and it's kind of confusing as to which section is even which trail, so I wouldn't worry too much about the names. What I did was continue taking rights as long as they did not lead to a dead end. Starting at Cactus North, take a right, follow the trail, avoid the dead end, take a right, follow the trail, take a right, continue right, ignore the dead end, continue right, take a right, continue, take a right. I did check out the Bridal Wreath Falls, back to the trail, and then on to Douglas Springs, which is on the other side of the map. Continuing up the Cactus Forest trails to the Douglas Spring Trail to Douglas Spring Campsite. Day 1 was about 12 miles. Day 1 of my backpack in Saguaro National Park has been an incredible day. Despite raining for several hours, it was basically a non-factor, and the clouds kept the temperatures very comfortable for staying on the move. Hiking this morning through the Cactus Forest, there was 2 of me out there. I was beside myself with wonderment at the awesome mighty saguaros, and then as I rose in elevation, I got great views of Tucson and the surrounding mountains. I've got camp set up, I'm gonna get some dinner cooked, and then it'll be time to settle in for a relaxing evening. That'll be the end of day 1. Good night. Good morning. Made it day 2 in the Saguaro National Park. A bit of a rambunctious night last night. It rained for most of the night. There were also ferocious winds, but fortunately the grotto protected the tent quite well, and I only heard them in the distance for the most part. Every once in a while a gust would sneak through and shake the tent, but I was very thankful that I was not in the exposed winds. The interesting thing is all the rain down at 4,800 feet has me questioning what the conditions are going to be at 8,000 plus feet as I climb today. 2 main options come to mind. One is if it rained up there, it could be very slushy and muddy. 2 is if it snowed up there, there could obviously be lots of fresh snow on the trail. So I'm intrigued to see how it's going to be up there, but still a couple hours away from getting to that elevation and finding out. I've got breakfast in me. I'm going to pack up a wet tent, and then it'll be time to hit the trail. Douglas Spring? More like Douglas Veritable River. Today I'm heading up 4,000 plus feet into the mystery of those clouds. A sweet view of the rolling grasslands that surround Douglas Spring. Cloudy day. May clear up later on, we'll see. Rising in elevation, I've left the grasslands behind, and now I'm in a denser bush tree forest here. Cowhead Saddle. I don't know if it's named for that rock structure right there. Doesn't particularly look like a cow's head to me, but you know, I'm here and on the way to Manning Camp. First snow, and I'm not even at 7,000 feet yet. It's been super interesting to witness the change in environments as I ascend in the Rincons. And most mountains around the world, the base has trees, which transition into bushes, then grasses, then barren as one rises. But out here, it's been the exact opposite. It's barren down in the Cactus Forest, and then transitions to the grassland, and then the bushland, and now up here near the top, I'm into the trees. Wow, quite the waterfall there. Really pretty hiking through this stretch. The forest, the creek, the patches of snow. Quite chilly up at this elevation. I'm seeing my breath with every step. Staying warm as long as I keep moving. I know once I stop, it'll be time for some warm clothes. We are socked in by clouds up here. Made it to Manning Cabin, which was built by Levi Manning in 1905. I'm sure it's been restored since then. But I'm now going to find my campsite and get warmed up. Home sweet home. Site number 3. It has just started to sleet, which is not ideal. So it is time for me to get set up. Levi Manning, born in North Carolina, had the Manning Cabin built in 1905. It still maintains the same general layout and character as in his day. Let's take a look at the map for day 2. Starting at Douglas Spring Campground, I finished off the Douglas Spring Trail through Cowhead Saddle onto the Cowhead Saddle Trail and finished up at Manning Camp. Day 2 was about 7 miles. Day 2 in the Rincon Mountains has been a solid day. I had initially intended to go a little bit farther today to check out Spud Rock and maybe Micah Mountain, and then as soon as I got to Manning Camp, the wintry mix started to come down and I got set up just in time to hunker down for that. I'm going to hopefully stay warm here for the rest of the evening and night. As long as nothing crazy happens, that'll be the end of day 2. Good night. Good morning. Made it day 3 in Saguaro. Cold night last night. The coldest night that I've ever spent in the great state of Arizona. It dropped below freezing. How far below I'm not sure, because apparently my thermometer broke at the freezing point. But I do know that my tent zippers were frozen shut this morning and I had to use my lighter to be able to escape. There was a really cool group camped up here a little ways. They were all wearing hot dog costumes, so I went and talked to them, and they are doing a 100-mile stretch of the Arizona Trail over 5 days, wearing the hot dog costumes the entire time to raise money for charity. I've got a little bit of a different plan this morning because my tent is still frozen on the outside, so what I'm going to try to do is hike up to Spud Rock, which should be about a 1.5 mile round trip. I'm hoping that the snow will still be hard and perhaps not too bad to cross, and that'll give the tent a little bit of time to unfreeze so I can pack it up and then head on to my next campsite at Happy Valley. It's time to hit the trail. Passing back by the Manning Corral and Manning Cabin. They have rangers up here starting in April, I believe. Right now it is unoccupied. To the right are what look like very small cat prints, perhaps. And then to the left are what appears to be some deer prints. There is a lot of snow out here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it or not. There's about a ½ inch of fresh powder from yesterday's storm on top of the hard frozen snow that was here previously. So far it's been hard enough where I haven't been breaking through. We'll see how things continue for me. I think I came up with the wrong rock here. I'm guessing that one straight ahead is the real Spud Rock. But I've got some great vistas, which is what I was looking for. And I actually also miscalculated the distance. It was 2.5 miles round trip, not 1.5. These are some really interesting tracks here. 4 toes, a fairly large sized paw. These tracks look to me like raccoons. I'm not sure if they have raccoons here or not. Retracing my footprints back to Manning. Thanks to a long cold night, I had very little post holing. You can see some of the other recent visitors weren't quite so lucky. This is the view from Sail Hill, right up above the Manning campground. Looks like we're in for a nice day today. Partly cloudy, little blue skies poking through. It's nice to see that sun for a little bit. Made it back to Manning Camp. I don't do too much snow hiking, but that was a really enjoyable morning. My favorite part was seeing the plethora of different fresh animal tracks in the snow. All packed up and ready to head towards Happy Valley. Unfortunately, it's been quite a bit of post holing to start out. I hope it doesn't continue this way for long. Things look better ahead, but that last stretch of trail, ooh buddy, it took me about an hour to do a ½ mile. It was very tough to even follow the trail, and then it was all 2-3 foot snow. But things do look better ahead. My happy stretch out of the snow was short-lived. The next trail marker is on the side of this hill. But with views like this, I'd say it's worth it. That must be Rincon Peak, due south. Some large bones along the Heartbreak Ridge Trail. Rincon Peak is growing. I'm heading to the Happy Valley Saddle, which I assume is going to be in between this ridge and the peak. There's a building up there on top of the ridge. I believe I'm finally beginning my descent towards camp, but with Heartbreak Ridge you never know. I need to drop around 1,000 feet. I made it to Happy Valley. Shouts out to the Nittany Lions. Now it's time to find my actual campsite here. Home sweet home. Site number 3. Number 3 has treated me well each of the past 2 nights. If it ain't broke, don't break it. In 1933, Saguaro National Monument was created to serve as a sanctuary for the saguaro cactus. In 1994, the Rincon and Tucson mountain districts were combined to form Saguaro National Park. Let's take a look at the map for day 3. Starting at Manning Camp, I hiked up to the Spud Rock area, returned, broke down camp, post-holed, hardcore, and then got on the Heartbreak Ridge Trail to take me down to Happy Valley Campground. Day 3 was about 10 miles. Day 3 in the Rincons was a challenging day, tougher than expected due to the snow. This morning after Spud Rock, I was like, snow hiking is fun. I was feeling good about it. Singing a much different tune after that half mile, 3/4 of a mile post hole coming out of Manning Camp. In addition to the physical difficulty that the snow added, it also made navigation tricky, and my boots and socks, and therefore my feet, were completely wet all day. But I'm here at a beautiful campsite. I'm gonna get dinner cooked up and settle in for a restful evening. That'll be the end of day 3. Good night. Good morning. Made it to day 4, my backpack in Saguaro National Park. Had a calm, clear night last night, beautiful view of the stars, and thankfully for me, it was restful and relaxing after a tough day yesterday. My hike today is going to start out by heading the same way I came. I'm going to go up Heartbreak Ridge. It was tough enough coming down, so I expect it's really going to earn its name heading back up. I'm going to finish off my chocolate milk, get camp packed up, and then it'll be time to hit the trail. Rising up has the looks of a beautiful day today. First snow of the day. I did not hit the lookout yesterday, but it's only 0.2 miles out of the way, so let's go check it out today. I heard that this building is disease infested due to rats. Decent views up here at the Happy Valley Lookout, but not too much different really from the Heartbreak Ridge Trail itself. I'm standing in 2 feet of snow, looking out at an arid landscape. Finish up with the Heartbreak Ridge Trail, hopping on Devils Bathtub. It is a very windy day today. This looks like a beautiful area to stop and take a lunch break. I have to put some warm clothes on. It's chilly and the wind keeps blowing. The Devil's Bathtub. It's a big waterfall here, leading down into that nice pool. Just spooked this deer off the trail. Now he's just staring at me, chewing some food. There's a second deer. It's only about 10-15 foot from me. I'm just gonna meander by on the trail, let him do his thing. Oh, there he is. Finished up the Devil's Bathtub Trail. Now I need to drop over 2,000 feet of elevation in the next several miles to reach Grass Shack. Straight through that gap in the trees is a massive waterfall. Oh wow, a little further down the trail and up above that first waterfall there's a second waterfall. And that waterfall system just keeps growing. Now I see a third fall down below the top two. Continuing to descend, closing in on Grass Shack. I've seen about a dozen Arizona trail thru hikers in the past hour or two. Grass Shack made great time today. It's incredible what not post-holing through snow will do for one's pace. Now it's time to find my campsite and get settled in. Home sweet home. You already know it's site 3 for me. Looks like a nice shaded area back here. I did have to do a wet foot crossing of the creek. No big deal, it actually felt really good on my tired feet. Elevations in the Rincon Mountain District range from 2,670 feet in the Cactus Forest to 8,666 feet on Mica Mountain. Let's take a look at the map for day 4. Starting at Happy Valley, I retraced my steps up the Heartbreak Ridge Trail, followed the Devils Bathtub Trail, down the Manning Camp, Arizona Trail, to Grass Shack. Day 4 was about 10 miles. Day 4 has been a great day in the Rincon Mountain District. Much less challenging than yesterday due to the lesser amount of snow, which was great for me, and I was able to make it to camp early enough to enjoy daylight after getting set up. I've got dinner cooking, I'm settling in for the evening, and as long as these winds don't howl too much, that'll be it for day 4. Good night. Good morning. Made it to day 5 in Saguaro National Park. It was a windy night last night, a windy day yesterday, and a windy day this morning. I'm hoping it'll clear up as the day goes on because I'll be hitting Verde Peak along the way, and I've heard there are astounding views, so it'd be awesome to be able to enjoy that without being buffeted by the wind. I'm going to start out with multiple wet foot crossings today of this very, very cold creek, and once I get going, it'll be my shortest day of the trip. It's time to hit the trail. Pretty views immediately coming out of Grass Shack. My feet are starting to warm back up a little bit after that cold water. I'm finishing up with the Arizona National Scenic Trail. Saw quite a few thru hikers yesterday and this morning, so it'll be good to get away from those crowds for the rest of the trip. I'm at the Cowhead Saddle intersection. I was last here on day 2 when I was traveling between Douglas Spring and Manning Camp. Today I'm going to be heading up the Verde Trail towards Juniper Basin. Verde Peak right ahead. Looks like I'm going to have to drop down quite a ways before I begin the big climb up to the top. Looking back the way I was hiking up along this ridge line, there are pretty open views in every direction. It's made for a very visually enjoyable hike so far. I'm expecting even more once I get up to the main peak. It's an overcast day today, helping keep the temperatures down. The wind, it's here, but not too bad. The main peak of the ridgeline is getting closer and closer. Verde Peak. As promised, the views are absolutely expansive in every direction. I will say I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Maybe Verde or Verde. but everything around here is tank this, tank that. So I'll call it tank Verde until I learn otherwise. If that's incorrect, I do apologize. I enjoyed a beautiful lunch break at the peak, sheltered from the winds. I'm now heading towards Juniper Basin. My final campground of the trip should be about 2 miles and around 1,000 feet of descent to get there. Time flies when you're having fun. 2 miles gently downhill, past in the blink of an eye. Now I'm at Juniper Basin. Time to pick out my site. Home sweet home. Y'all want to guess what site number I'm at? Get it in quickly. Drum roll, please. Site number 1. Gotta keep you on your toes. 6 different plant communities thrive in the varying elevations of Saguaro National Park. Desert scrub, desert grassland, oak woodland, pine oak woodland, pine forest, and mixed conifer forest. Let's take a look at the map for day 5. Starting at Grass Shack, I finished off a short stretch of the Arizona Trail, came up to Cowhead Saddle, and then followed the Tank Verde Ridge Trail to Juniper Basin. Day 5 was about 7 miles. Day 5 has been a really awesome day. Nice short day of hiking combined with really the most scenic day of the trip. I had pretty much constant views from the Tank Verde Ridge, at least in one direction, if not multiple directions at the same time. Saguaro National Park has really been different than what I expected. I underestimated the Sky Island effect, just how different these towering mountains would be from the surrounding desert landscape. I don't know if I've ever hiked in one area with so many varied ecosystems. It's been really enjoyable, although like I said, a little different than what I expected. I've got camp set up here at Juniper Basin. I'm going to settle in for what I hope to be a relaxing evening. That'll be the end of day 5. Good night. Good morning. Made it to day 6, my backpacking trip in Saguaro National Park. Had a great evening last night. It was the first evening of the trip where I was able to enjoy it outside of my tent. It was not too cold, it was not too windy, and there was no hail coming down. So I had a great evening and really had a good time getting to watch the sun fade into darkness instead of just hunkered away in the tent. Now I know what you're thinking. Lane, this is Saguaro National Park. We have not seen a saguaro since day 1. That's true, but we have seen lots of other cool things, and today we're going to be back into the land of saguaros. I'm excited for it, so buckle up because it's time to hit the trail. Let's take a look at the map for day 6. Starting at Juniper Basin Campground, I'll descend along the Tank Verde Ridge Trail down to the road, have a short road walk to the Cactus Forest Trail, follow that up to the Cactus Forest, checking out Lime Falls, and then finish up at the end of my trip at Cactus North. Day 6 will be about 11 miles for a trip total of approximately 57 miles. A nice partly sunny day to start out, and I am feeling light as a feather. The city of Tucson's growing larger as I get closer to the end of my trip here in this beautiful area. What is that? It's a saguaro cactus. I'd almost forgotten what they looked like. Made it to the Javelina picnic area. Now I've got a short road walk, and then a couple miles to the Cactus Forest to finish off my loop. Back in the land of the saguaro cactus. Beautiful day, a little hot, but I'm on flat ground now, so it shouldn't be too bad for me to finish off this last stretch. I love these guys. They're all different. Arms akimbo. They have various personalities. Some are neat and orderly. Some embrace chaos. Lime Falls. Not a ton of flow, but when an ephemeral desert waterfall is moving at all, gotta take advantage to check it out. This is a crested saguaro, which only occurs about 1 in every 100,000. Yeah. 6 days in Saguaro National Park, done and dusted. It was not what I expected coming out here, but it was beautiful all the same. An incredible array of very different ecosystems, from the cactus forest at the bottom to the big tree forest up top. For my true laniacs who made it all the way through the video, go ahead and leave a cactus emoji or the word cactus in the comments to let me know you watched the whole thing, and I'll show some love back. Thank you, and until next time, thanks for tuning into Lane's World. Goodbye.